That was a sickening and offensive performance from Chelsea. I'm heartbroken by that. Everything that we witnessed there was completely and utterly unacceptable. I was live on my Twitch channel for that entire game. We did a watch along on my Twitch channel, and I can honestly say it was a terrible experience. It was painful. It was heartbreaking. Quite what happened there, I do not know, but I can tell you this for free. Chelsea aren't making top four. My WhatsApp group is popping off at the moment, my Chelsea group, and people are going, oh, Tottenham clawed it back last year. Chelsea are not making top four. We are nowhere near good enough. We have nowhere near the application needed. We are tussling with Manchester United for Europa League qualification. At best, we are a shadow of the team that we need to be. We are incomparable to what Arsenal are doing. We're incomparable to City, Liverpool, Tottenham. We are nowhere near it. And it is completely and utterly unacceptable. Off the back of what happened at Ellen Road, Ellen Road was a low point. It should have been an awakening in this team. So then go to Southampton and put in that abject performance, a performance where we were bullied. We didn't want it. We didn't fight. There was no hunger. There was no desire. There was no tenacity. There was no aggression. There was nothing. It was pitiful. It was a pitiful performance. And it was on Thomas Tuchel's watch, which brings me to the point of this video. Chelsea fans don't want to hear this. Chelsea fans will never explore Thomas Tuchel. Is he the right man for the job? But I think that it's time. I think it's time to actually have a conversation. I guarantee you this. If Roman Abramovich was still Chelsea chairman and Chelsea owner, there is no way that Thomas Tuchel would still be in a job. Chelsea fans don't like this. I have no idea why, but Chelsea fans insulate Thomas Tuchel from any kind of criticism. I'm not there. I'm not saying I want him sacked, but I'm saying I demand better. I'm saying that he needs to be better now because he is making mistake after mistake, and he isn't owning it, he isn't acknowledging it, and he isn't learning from it. Do you know what? When we line up against West Ham, there needs to be significant changes to this team because what is going on at the moment is completely unacceptable. And I tell you what, unless we've got about 10 players lined up that are elite, that are going to come in before the window closes, then we have absolutely no hope of anything. Thomas Tuchel gets away with it, and I don't know why. Of course, he won a European Cup, but winning a European Cup does not guarantee you or save you from anything. Ask Roberto Di Matteo if you do not believe me. Winning a European Cup in very specific circumstances against Manchester City is obviously significant, but it isn't the be-all and end-all. And why does he get away with it? We have held far better managers than Thomas Tuchel to account. I haven't agreed with it all the time. I mean, I thought it was a disgrace the way Mourinho was treated, particularly first time round. Carlo Ancelotti, unacceptably sacked in the dugout. But nobody cared. Whereas for some reason, Chelsea fans are so desperate to preserve and protect Thomas Tuchel. For some reason, it's okay that Chelsea only won 8 games at home last season. For some reason, it's okay that Everton, who were a Rizzler paper from being relegated, won more games than us last season. They nearly go down. They win more home games than us. How is that acceptable? For some reason, it's okay that under Thomas Tuchel's watch, Chelsea lose consecutive games to Arsenal and Brentford and concede 4 goals in each game at home under Thomas Tuchel's watch. I don't understand why that is acceptable. Tonight was appalling. And Thomas Tuchel is accountable. There are certain players who should never be playing for this club, and yet they are selected by Tuchel all the time. And do you know what we should do? We should use the first goal as a case study here, right? The first goal that Chelsea conceded, we did brilliantly. North West London's Raheem Sterling puts Chelsea 1-0 up. Things are going well. We're playing well. We're commanding the game. Things are going well. We've taken the sting out of Southampton. I thought they were buoyant. Their fans were loud. It was lively. We did okay. Suddenly, Cesar Azpilicueta, a man who wasn't good enough to play for Chelsea 2 years ago, is on the pitch in a back four. No pace in that back line. Koulibaly, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva. 3 of the 4, literally no pace. Surely that's a 5, right? If you've got such slow players, surely that's a 5. So that you're a little bit stronger there. Any ball over the top, they've got such a lively front two, that Armstrong, lively, Chele, lively. Bad decision. But Cesar Azpilicueta, in my opinion, shouldn't be on the pitch. Has the ball in an awkward position. He either miskicks it, kicks it out for a corner, puts a red carpet out for Southampton to get back in the game. Chelsea can't defend. Tuchel. Chelsea can't defend corners. Harry Kane, corner. Leeds United, corner. Today, corner. So, what's going on the training ground? Tuchel. Cesar Azpilicueta gets a ball, and Maybe, on one level, I feel sorry for him. Maybe he looked at Edouard Mendy and thought, that geezer does not want the ball at his feet. He had a flashback from what happened at Ellen Road with Mendy. So he's looked at Mendy and gone, I'm going to give the corner away instead. Maybe he's done that, which means Mendy shouldn't be on the pitch. If you cannot trust your goalkeeper, you cannot have that goalkeeper. I'm no fan of Ariza Balaga, but he needs to play the next game. So, Azpilicueta has looked up and seen Mendy and kicked it out of play instead, or he's miskicked it, which means he shouldn't be on the pitch. Cesar Azpilicueta is not good enough to play for Chelsea. That's a fact. That isn't a slight on who he was or what he's done for Chelsea over the years, but he's not good enough to play for Chelsea. Fact. So stop picking him. Jorginho, abysmal tonight. Let's see how Chelsea line up. When Chelsea play West Ham, Chelsea playing West Ham is intense. It's everything you want in a derby. It's full of spite, antipathy, aggression, East versus West London, raucous atmosphere, buoyant fans. What I need to see in that game is some decisive action from Tuchel. And if not, a journalist politely needs to say, can you please explain why Kai Havertz has kept his place in this team? Because Kai Havertz is nowhere near good enough to play for Chelsea. Armando Broja did more for Chelsea in 2 minutes of being on the pitch than Kai Havertz did on the pitch. Kai Havertz scored the goal in Porto. Everyone will tell me about the goal in Porto. Yep, I get it. Significant, legendary folklore stuff. But that doesn't guarantee you to start for the club forever. When you are churning out these appalling performances, did nothing. Can't shoot, can't play with his back to goal, can't run the channels. That header that he had the opportunity there, it was cowardly. It was cowardly. This isn't a slight on the man himself. I don't know the man himself. But as a footballer, he's a coward. He's a cowardly footballer. Armando Broja comes on within minutes. He's up between two defenders, wins Chelsea the corner. Kai Havertz, he loses 50-50. He loses 64. He loses 70-30 in his favour. And, you know, people will constantly talk about the player and the way that he plays a game and he's Berbatov. He's not. He's a false nine for Chelsea who averages 6 goals a season. It's pitiful. It's a pathetic return. And when Chelsea line up against West Ham, he needs to be nowhere near that team. Mendy, nowhere near that team. Azpilicueta, nowhere near that team. Kai Havertz, absolutely nowhere near that team. For some reason, Tuchel will pick them. Tuchel is convinced by Havertz. I don't get it and I don't understand why. But this is now completely and utterly unacceptable. We are now already in a terrible situation in the league. You know, I don't think that we have a chance of top 4 already. Not only because of where we sit, but because of the way that it's looking, because of our performances so far. But if we don't get this right very soon, something needs to change because we cannot keep churning out these performances. They are utter dross. They are utterly unacceptable. And the fact that we have gone to Southampton to watch Adam Armstrong win a game. We've already had the misfortune of going to Ellen Road to watch them batter us. Something needs to be done here because Chelsea are all over the place. And Thomas Tuchel either needs to rectify it or someone else needs to come in and rectify it because this cannot go on. It isn't even the defeat that has hurt so much. It's the pitiful, pathetic nature of the performance. Absolutely gutted. Appalling.